Welcome back to our channel on this beautiful Thursday where the drama is absolutely overflowing and we simply have to dive into the spectacular chaos unfolding right in front of our eyes. Brooke Logan Forrester is a woman on the edge of a total psychological collapse. And honestly, who can even blame her? When you look at the sheer volume of betrayal that has been heaped upon her shoulders over the last few weeks by the very people she trusted the most in this world. She is just standing there watching her own flesh and blood strut down a runway that was paid for by Bill Spencer's dirty money and orchestrated by Katie's ruthless ambition. And you can literally see the exact second that Brooke's heart hardens into stone because she realizes that she has lost her daughter to the dark side of the fashion industry. Total devastation, utter betrayal, a shattered family. Brooke has spent her entire life fighting tooth and nail to protect her children and to build a legacy at Forrester Creations. And now she has to stand in the audience and watch Hope smile for the cameras while wearing a logo that represents the destruction of everything Brooke holds dear. The anger bubbling inside Brooke is not just a passing frustration, because this is a deep, primal, maternal rage that has been activated by the sight of her daughter being paraded around like a prize pony by Katie and Bill. Brooke didn't just sit there and cry softly into a tissue like some defeated victim. No, she mobilized. She marched her way right over to Spencer Publications with the kind of furious determination that makes grown men step out of the way in the hallways, because you do not want to be in the path of Brooke Logan when she is on a warpath. She barged into that showroom looking for blood. She didn't come to negotiate. She didn't come to ask politely for an explanation. She came to burn the entire house of Logan to the ground and salt the earth so nothing could ever grow there again. Katie is just standing there looking all smug and victorious after pulling off the fashion heist of the century, and Brooke is vibrating with a level of rage that transcends normal human emotion. Katie pressured Eric Forrester to join her fashion house when he was vulnerable, and then she blatantly stole his designs to launch her own brand. And now she has lured Hope away from her mother's protective embrace. It is a trifecta of betrayal. Brooke is looking at her sister and she doesn't see family anymore. She sees a parasite. She sees a woman who has spent her entire life living in Brooke's shadow and is now trying to steal Brooke's light by taking the people Brooke loves the most. And then it happens. The snap. Brooke reaches a point where she just can't take the smug looks and the corporate doublespeak anymore. And she picks up an object right there in the Spencer showroom and she just hurls it with all her might at the monitor. Smash. Glass shattering everywhere. Sparks flying. The sheer violence of the act is breathtaking because Brooke is usually the one trying to keep the peace and play the diplomat. But right now, she is a warrior throwing a literal weapon at the screen that is broadcasting her family's humiliation. That shattered monitor is the perfect metaphor for the Logan sisterhood right now. Broken, irreparable, dangerous to touch. She is my child and I am going to get her out of here. Brooke screams at Katie, and the raw desperation in her voice echoes off the walls of that cold corporate office. I am going to rescue her from this place, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. Rescue her. Think about that word, rescue. Brooke doesn't view Katie as an employer who gave Hope a lucrative business opportunity. Brooke views Katie as a kidnapper who has brainwashed Hope into joining a cult. Brooke genuinely believes that Hope is in danger of losing her soul to Bill Spencer's toxic influence, and she is stepping into the role of the savior who will drag her daughter back to the light, even if her daughter is kicking and screaming the whole way. This is the official declaration of war. On Wednesday, Brooke makes it crystal clear to Katie that the days of sisterly truces and tearful apologies are over forever. There is no going back from this. You do not steal a woman's husband's designs and then steal her daughter and expect to still be invited to Thanksgiving dinner. Brooke is drawing a line in the sand, and she is telling Katie that she will use every ounce of power and influence she has to destroy Logan and rescue Hope. It is going to be a bloodbath. Ridge is already on a collision course with Bill, and now Brooke is going scorched earth on Katie. The collateral damage from this war is going to take down half of Los Angeles before the dust finally settles. Katie, of course, is not going to just roll over and play dead because she finally has a taste of power and she likes it. Katie will probably stand there amid the broken glass of that monitor and tell Brooke that she is delusional. Katie will justify everything by saying she gave Hope a chance to shine outside of the oppressive Forrester hierarchy. Katie will weaponize Brooke's past mistakes and throw them right back in her face because that is what sisters do when they are fighting to the death. They know exactly where the soft spots are and they stab right into them. Katie has Bill Spencer whispering in her ear and backing her up with unlimited funds, so she feels invincible right now. But Katie is forgetting that a cornered Brooke Logan is the most dangerous creature on the planet. And while the older generation is busy tearing each other to shreds in the Spencer showroom, we have to pivot to the absolute tragedy unfolding with the younger generation because Elektra Forrester is currently living her own personal nightmare. Elektra is sitting there watching the broadcast of the Logan fashion show, and she is just stunned, completely paralyzed by the shock of what she is seeing on the screen. She is watching Hope walk down that runway. She is seeing the new jewelry line that no one at Forrester knew about, and then she sees it. The Hope for the Future diamond. The $100 million rock that is currently wrapped around Hope's neck for the whole world to see. Wyatt Spencer secured the diamond and brought it to Logan, and Will Spencer knew about it the entire time. Will Spencer, the boy she loves, the boy she trusted, the boy who looked her in the eyes and kissed her and promised her that they were a team, he knew all of it. At Bill Spencer's insistence, Will kept this massive corporate secret from his girlfriend and allowed her family to be blindsided on global television. Bill told Will that it was just business and that he needed to keep his mouth shut to protect the Spencer family investments. Will listened to his father instead of his conscience. He chose his last name over the woman he supposedly loved. Elektra is just moaning in disbelief as she watches the broadcast because the reality of Will's silence is crashing down on her like a tidal wave. He didn't say a word, not a single word about the jewelry line. Not a whisper about Wyatt coming back to town with the diamond. He just let her walk blindly into this humiliation. And the worst part is that as Elektra sits there processing this massive betrayal, she suddenly realizes that this isn't the first time Will has kept something important from her. The pattern is suddenly so clear and so terrifying. Will has a habit of hiding things when they get messy. He has a habit of prioritizing Spencer loyalty over his relationship with her. This is the exact moment that trust dies. You can almost hear the cracking of Elektra's heart as she stares at that screen. How can she ever look at Will again and believe a single word that comes out of his mouth? If he can lie about something this massive and this damaging to her family, what else is he capable of lying about? Is he really just a younger version of Bill Spencer? Is he destined to manipulate and control the women in his life under the guise of protecting the family business? Elektra has been through so much trauma and betrayal in her past, and she thought Will was her safe harbor. Now she is realizing that he is just another storm waiting to destroy her. Will is currently navigating his way back to the beach house after what has undoubtedly been the longest and most stressful day of his entire life. He has been riding the high of the successful Logan launch, but deep down in the pit of his stomach, he knows that a reckoning is coming. He knows that Elektra watched that broadcast. He knows that she saw the diamond. He knows that his silence is about to explode in his face. The walk up to the door of the beach house must feel like a death march for him. He is exhausted. He is conflicted. He loves Elektra, but he also wants to prove himself to his father. He is a young man torn between two warring empires, and he is about to face the firing squad. What kind of reception is Will going to receive when he finally turns the knob and walks into that beach house? It is not going to be warm. It is not going to be forgiving. Elektra is going to be waiting for him, and she is going to be armed with the righteous fury of a Forrester who has just been stabbed in the back by a Spencer. She is going to put him on blast. She is going to scream at him. She is going to demand to know how he could look her in the eye and lie to her by omission for weeks. Will is going to try to explain. He is going to use Bill's excuses. He is going to say it was just business and that he was sworn to secrecy and that he didn't want to put her in the middle. Those excuses are going to sound like absolute garbage to Elektra. Just business? This is her family's legacy. This is her life. You don't get to compartmentalize betrayal and call it corporate strategy. Elektra is going to see right through his weak defenses, and she is going to realize that Will is fundamentally incapable of putting her first. Could she be angry enough to dump him again? Absolutely. She should dump him. She should pack her bags and walk right out the door of that beach house and never look back. She needs to freeze him out completely, because if she forgives this, she is just giving him permission to lie to her again the next time Bill Spencer demands it. If Elektra does dump Will, we all know exactly what is going to happen next, because the vultures are already circling. RJ Forrester is just waiting for the perfect opportunity to swoop in and console his beautiful Kazine by marriage. RJ has been telling Elektra for weeks that Will is a sleazy, greedy Spencer who will only let her down. RJ is going to look like a prophet when this all blows up. He is going to offer her a shoulder to cry on and a safe place to land back at the Forrester estate. RJ is going to manipulate this vulnerability to finally win Elektra's heart and push Will out of the picture permanently. And Will is not going to sit around and mourn forever because Melissa Dillon is hovering right there in the background. Dylan, who already kissed him once, Dylan, who works at Forrester but clearly has a soft spot for the Spencer heir. If Elektra kicks Will to the curb, Dylan is going to be the first one to offer him comfort. She is going to tell him that she understands how hard it is to be caught in the middle. She is going to validate his feelings and make him feel like he isn't a monster. The love quadrangle is going to become so hopelessly messy and entangled that no one is going to make it out without deep emotional scars. The fallout from this single day is going to reshape the entire landscape of Los Angeles. Brooke and Katie are locked in a death match that will force everyone to choose sides. Ridge and Bill are going to tear each other apart trying to protect their wives. Hope is going to be caught in the middle of her mother's rage and her aunt's ambition. And Elektra and Will are going to become the tragic casualties of a corporate war that they didn't even start. The silence that Will thought would protect him is actually the very thing that is going to destroy his entire future. It is truly a masterpiece of soap opera storytelling. The physical violence of Brooke smashing the monitor perfectly mirrors the emotional violence of Will breaking Elektra's trust. Everywhere you look, things are shattering. Glass, hearts, families, legacies. There is no safe place left on this canvas. You are either a Logan or a Forrester, and if you try to be both, you end up bleeding on the floor. Thursday's episode is going to be a masterclass in confrontation, and we are going to be glued to our screens watching every single glorious, miserable second of it. Stay tuned, because the explosions have only just begun.